Welcome to Experimarketing, the podcast where we innovate, create, and appreciate. Powered by Mostly Automotive Marketing with Matt Wilson. Here's the host of Experimarketing, Chief Experimarketer, Colin Carasquillo.
What's up there, ladies and gentlemen, marketers of all ages, shapes, sizes, and colors? Today is a really, really great episode of Experimarketing because we are looking to 2021 and beyond. We're going to be talking about the 2021 social media trends that was presented in a report by HubSpot and Talkwalker. There were 10 incredible trends that my co-host Matt Wilson and I, let's have him come in. Matt, you've been summoned. Here he comes.
I'm coming on. Hold on. Nope, that's me. That's both of us. Nope, I don't know how to get.
He had to run up the stairs to his office. He's coming. Here he is. Wait, we'll figure it out eventually. It's only the 9th episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, the audio's working. I don't know what's going on.
The audio's working. That's all that matters.
Thank you for having me on, Colin. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. My partner in crime, as always. But today is extra special because, we usually have these guests, people, industry leaders and thought leaders, of industry heads in automotive and so on and so forth. But today is even more special because guess who my guest is?
Who? I'm very excited. Who?
It's you. It's
yes.
you, Matt Wilson. You are my guest today because I think that you would have a wealth of knowledge to provide your input, your 2 cents, if you will, on these 2021 social media trends, especially since you are on the agency side of things, right, at Silverback Advertising, and I'm on the dealer side of things. So I think what we'll do today is have this great little think tank and give our opinions and feedback and whatever about these 2021 social media trends. How does that sound?
I love it. Let's think tank it up, man. Love it.
Let's think tank it up. So first things first, before we get down to the business of getting down, I do need to thank my my awesome creator of the intro to Experimarketing. This is Jim McCarthy, jimmccarthyvoiceovers.com for any voiceover needs, audio needs, I think even lighting, right? We talked about this last time. He has his big dot lighting. Any lighting and voiceover needs?
Big dot lighting, yep.
That's
voiceover. He does it all. Video, he does video work too.
He does it all. Who are you going to call? Jim McCarthy?
He does it all. Who are you going to call?
voiceovers.com. And then we also, I know on our previous episode of Experimarketing, I congratulated Matt on his Dealer Marketing Magazine partnership. Mm-hmm. And then, wait, there's more. I guess he felt bad for me. So he said, hey, I got this guy who I kind of do some work with, and I think he should be on there too. So thanks to Matt, I would also like to announce that I am now on the Dealer Marketing Magazine website under the podcast section. And together, Matt and I will achieve world domination.
Yes. Up next, world domination.
Up next, world domination. But before world domination, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk these 2021 social media trends. So, Matt, how did you feel when I sent that 56-page report over to you?
I was like, what are we talking about? He's like, I'll send you the link. And I got it. And I'm like, what? Yeah, okay. So I'll be honest with you. I read the first 30 pages.
Okay. Well,
and then it was time to get some breakfast. So I tell you, lots of good information in here. Did you read the whole thing though?
So I'll say this. I read the headings, which I thought were very, very relevant and important. The headings. Now, hold on. And I read the initial research pages. And so for listeners out there, what we'll do actually once this episode is on air for all to hear, we will put the link in the descriptions, comment section, so on and so forth. So you can read the 2021 Social Media Trends Report, which was presented by HubSpot and Talkwalker. And it's a detailed report to drive your social media strategy forward. So I read a lot of it as well. I even saw some of the input and quotes from other thought leaders and forward thinkers in the industry. So I thought that was great. But then I wanted to kind of do a recap in our own analysis of it.
Yeah.
So let's get down to business. Number one on this report was actually remixing user-generated content. So it's the remix. And what we mean by that is we're seeing individuals in this day and age, whether they're millennials, Generation Z, so on and so forth, taking advantage of the social platforms that they are on regularly, right? So for millennials, it's Facebook and Instagram. For Gen Z, TikTok, Snapchat, so on and so forth. And they are taking content that exists and they are remixing it to their own and then creating their own user-generated content. So what are your thoughts on that, Matt?
This is a new term for me, by the way. I was not familiar that it had like a name, that it was called remixing.
Remixing.
I think it's cool. I mean, I was reading this page, and is this like, okay, have you ever seen, this is an example. I don't think you're a country music guy, so you may not get this example, but there's a new song out by Keith Urban with Pink, right? And it's a duet. And he put this video on Instagram and TikTok where you can do the duet with him, and you sing the Pink part of it. So like it's him playing the acoustic guitar and singing, and then you videotape yourself singing Pink's part, and then it makes the whole video of you and Keith Urban singing. Is that what remixing is?
I mean, that sounds
That's what it sounds like to me, right? Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of this since the pandemic started.
Right.
And from a like content standpoint, I think it's hilarious or it's cool. From a brand standpoint, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you do with it as a dealer. Like, what do you like? How do you like? What does a dealer do? Like, how do we like as the dealer community leverage? All right, how about this? I hate to. I'm jumping around. Remember when mannequin challenge was a thing?
Yeah.
So we did a mannequin challenge video at my Nissan store. It took us like a half hour. Got a bunch of people in the showroom. We laid under their cars. We made it look like we were getting run over. Choked them with the phone cord, and it was awesome. And we shot it. It was like a half hour, and we put it up on our YouTube channel, and it got a ton of views. All right, so that's good for our brand, right? It gets people. It humanizes us. People are watching those videos. It makes us top of mind. So from that standpoint, you're not going to sell cars by, making a mannequin challenge video, but it's good for your overall brand image, being top of mind. So I guess if you look at it that way, then yeah, I think it's cool. I think remixing is something that dealers should be thinking about and doing. But like we've talked about before, you and I, Colin, you got to have the right person and the right people. Right. And the importance of it, the belief that it's important has to come from the top.
Right. And then you have to enforce that. So, I mean, for example, the direction does have to come to the top. And then if you're going to continue to generate this content on a regular basis, that individual, whoever that point person is, will need support from upper management to do so.
It's a lot of work, though, right? It's a lot of work. It's not as easy as you would think.
Right. And that's one of the things, I think, why the remixing of the content has become so popular, though, is like you said earlier on, with COVID, individuals are home, they have a lot of time on their hands, or as bad as it is to say, but then they're coming up with these awesome ways to express themselves. And it's through taking content that did resonate with them or does resonate with them, and then generating their own version of it, thus the remix. But I love what you had brought up about the mannequin challenge, because one, I mean, what simpler times. I wish we could just go back to times.
Those were the days.
Those were the days way back when. I remember when I was a kid and, there was the mannequin challenge. The simpler times, but the fact of the matter is the mannequin challenge, great point, because even in this day and age, you see how these challenges or whatever the trends are go viral. And then I think it would behoove dealers or advertisers or marketers to really have a pulse on what's happening in terms of what trends might pop up next or how to take advantage of these trends, but then create content that is unique to their industry, leveraging what that trend is. So I love the mannequin challenge idea. There was one that we were throwing around. You and I had a conversation about it with Dogface. Remember? I mean, it just happened a little while ago on TikTok. This gentleman was drinking ocean spray cranberry juice, skateboarding, and he had Dreams by Fleetwood Mac playing in the background. Moment absolutely went viral, took off. But one of the things I keep kicking myself about is, man, I wish on the dealer side of it, I took a Jeep Wrangler and I put the top down, and whether I put a wig on or my hair's blown in the wind or something, but I had my cranberry juice and I was lip syncing Fleetwood Mac's Dreams and my Jeep Wrangler, and then all I would have needed to do at the end is Nielsen Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Something super simple, but that's the whole idea of remixing. So I think there is something there. It's going to be whoever, I will say this, the dealer, and I'm going to even throw my hat in the ring, the dealer, the dealership group, whatever it is that comes up with a way to remix content and continuously produce user-generated content, whether it's their employees as the users or actual customers, that dealership, I will tell you, will do exceptionally well in 2021 and beyond.
I feel like a lot of it's timing too. Like you couldn't go do a mannequin challenge video now. It would be ridiculous, right? Like, but with your ocean spray thing, like you got to get on it, like almost before, like, a little early, and then hope it catches. Otherwise, if you're too late, then you're like way out of touch.
Right. And I think that's kind of why this hasn't taken off. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why maybe for dealers, it's very challenging. And for content creators in general is because it's in that moment you need to execute. But like you said, if you execute too late, it almost has an adverse effect because it's showing that you are out of touch when you're trying to be in touch. And it just actually, what that brings up, I don't know if you've seen this meme, which is actually one of our topics on the conversation today, but it's a meme, and I forget what show it's from, or I don't know what show it's from, but it's Steve Buscemi, and he has a skateboard, he has his hat on backwards, and he's pretending to be cool, and he comes up and he goes, "What's up there, fellow brethren?" Like that's what you would say to kids. All it shows is that you're just so out of touch.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to walk a fine line. I'm
gonna do some planking later on today and take some pictures of that.
Planking is so 2018, man.
Yeah. Whoa, dude.
So anyway, moving on from the remixing of the content, and I would love to hear in the future, I mean, any dealers, please comment, leave your comments below about ways that you've come up with user-generated content, so on and so forth. Would love to talk about it on future episodes of Experimarketing. But the next thing, which is super relevant, obviously with COVID, we're still in the midst of this pandemic, second wave. You know, hopefully this is over sooner rather than later. We have vaccines on the way, thank goodness. But this one really resonated with me and should really resonate with dealers. And it's the 4 C's of COVID-19 content. And so the 4 C's, before we jump into it, are community, contactless, cleanliness, and compassion. So what they're saying from HubSpot and TalkWalker in these social media trends, the report, is that dealers need to think about how they're going to provide a sense of community to the individuals that are in fact in the community around them, that those are the individuals that will come purchase vehicles from them. Contactless options for vehicle pickup, you know, whether that's delivery, for service, maybe it's drop off the night before, pick up the night after, so on and so forth. Cleanliness, what kind of social distancing guidelines are in place at the dealership? What are you doing to ensure individuals that your dealership is in fact safe for them to show up at, should they decide to still venture to the brick and mortar dealership? And then finally, compassion. Be a person, be a real human. This is not something that, you know, we can pretend does not exist. We need to show compassion. And the way you do that is by partnering with individuals in your community, showing local support. You know, this is a very tough time for people, but compassion is just showing that you are aware of what is going on and that you're aware of how people are feeling, and you are providing them with these options in the other 3 C's that will allow them to conduct business with you. What are your thoughts on the 4 C's?
I think if you are a dealer, let's say I walk into a dealership and there's no hand sanitizer out front, nobody's wearing a mask, and they're going about their business like it's a normal November afternoon, that's like a huge like red flag for me. Like, I don't know if you, like when I watch TV now and I see people on TV hugging, I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing? These people are crazy. Oh, this was filmed before COVID.
Yeah.
So if you're a dealer and we're talking about social media, but it's the same thing. It's the perception of it, right? You walk into the dealership and the perception automatically is that those 4 C's are not a priority. That's a huge turnoff. And if you can convey those 4 C's on social media, like you mentioned, community, contact list, cleanliness, compassion, that's a huge win. Dealers have to be thinking about how to do that. And I don't know about you with your stores, but personally, I like everything that I see on social media to be like slightly amusing or entertaining. That's just me personally. So clever videos about those 4 things to me get extra points. But you can't ignore that on your social media. And then as it translates to a visit to your store.
Right. Absolutely. I think, other things that dealers can do, it actually spans so much more than just social media, by the way, which you had just discussed, excuse me. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
But, but with that, it's Friday. We're having fun. That's what that was. So with that, what you can do, guys, for your marketing, right? Omni-channel approaches to marketing, make sure that you do have messaging on your social channels and even your website about those 4 C's, right? And also, let's just look at this from a much larger perspective and kind of like the implications this can have for your dealership and the dealership success. We know from previous conversations with, industry heads like Bob Lanham from Facebook, right? That was one of them. Guy Schuler from Twitter. A lot of our conversation actually revolved around the customer experience. And it was shifting away from the old notion that price is the only thing that sells vehicles. What we are shifting towards in 2021 and beyond is customer experience. But playing into the customer experience are these 4 C's of COVID, which is how are you showing the customer that you're part of the community's safe, you're going to provide them with these awesome options, buy from home or deliver to home, so on and so forth. And you can just go down the list, but you can see how this means so much more than just saying on your social channels, hey, everyone's required to wear a mask when you come into the dealership. Or, hey, we have hand sanitizer stations. It becomes this way of doing business, and it's a way to re-educate the customer on how you're doing business in these crazy, crazy times.
Here's an idea for a dealer I just thought of that. If you're listening, you can do this idea. When I was at a Nissan store, we did a commercial for the Nissan Rogue when it got redesigned, right? And it had all this cool technology in it. And so what we did was like, we should do a commercial that talks about all the cool technology in this Rogue. How can we make it funny? Like, let's make up some technology that it doesn't really have, right? So we go through the technology. It's got this, it's got that, it's got this, and it's got automatic toothbrush machine for your way to work. And so the commercial was all these features of the Rogue, and then it was the owner of the dealership getting his teeth brushed, like while he's driving to work or whatever.
Pretty funny.
So what if you do something where it's like a customer showing up at the dealership and they're like, they walk in the door and they're getting like, you can't do that on television with the slime. Yeah, they get like totally attacked. And then it's like, all right, but seriously, we're taking all the necessary precautions to make sure our customers and employees are safe, kind of overselling it. Right. But like the Lego example, did you see the Lego example on the packet?
No.
So see, I read all the pages of this document.
I told you I only read partial pages.
And Lego did a social media post where they have a Lego character, and he took his hands off and he stuck them in a Lego washing machine. And it says, remember to wash your hands like our Lego minifigurine did. And the guy took his and stuck it in. That's just a clever
genius.
That's a genius idea. And you just gotta use your brains and think of those ideas.
Right. I gotta use my eyeballs and read next time. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, dude, that was on page 17.
Whoop. That was one I skipped. All right, changing gears. I'm very good at that. Let's change gears. Next subject. So with that, talking about social media, obviously, in this whole conversation today, but social commerce. Now, this is something that I think is really, really cool because you have other industry leaders, like thought leaders like Brian Pash, for example. Love Brian Pash, who was talking about conversational commerce and kind of this whole idea of social commerce, which is individuals you're selling to people in real time, but you're doing it, on social platforms, or you're doing it on a dealer's website via a chat, in terms of like, hey, instead of get today's best price, you click that and a chat opens up. But the same implication happens on social media when we're talking about social commerce. And you see how all these massive companies, or big names, I should say, not necessarily massive companies, although they are, but big names like Pinterest, for example, has introduced shoppable pins, right? So essentially, it's social commerce, if you will. Snapchat, shoppable lenses. Instagram, shoppable Instagram posts. I mean, there's all of these different things that people realize that there's something there, that there's a power to hitting someone on their social channels and then getting them to convert and buy something. Now, it's a little different with automotive because it's a much larger purchase,
Right.
But social commerce, I mean, what are your thoughts on that in 2021? Do dealers need to have first of all, I think every dealer should have their used car inventory on Facebook Marketplace if they're using Facebook Marketplace. But do you think dealers need to develop and specifically implement this social commerce strategy?
I don't know. I mean, the strategy I like, obviously, I use it all the time when I'm online. And if I'm being retargeted, I see something on Instagram. Oh yeah, whether I convert to purchasing or not, I'm not sure. Right. But I use it, and I use that ad form and interact with it constantly on social media. But your point about the price point of our products as dealers being right. what they are is, whether it's part of the path to purchase, maybe. But I mean, I don't think I'm, buying a $58,000 gladiator from clicking through a post on Instagram. That being said, I think dealers, obviously, having your inventory on Facebook Marketplace is a no-brainer. And I think in a lot of situations, a vendor will do it for you as a freebie throw-in kind of thing. I don't even know if cars.com does that or used to do that or whatever. So that's it. But I don't know. I don't know if that applies to our products. What do you think? Do you use social commerce just in general?
Well, listen, it is for smaller items. I mean, I would agree with you. There are things that I've absolutely been retargeted with in terms of, actually, one of them was this watch. So
hey, look at that. Fancy.
Thank you. This watch actually has been following me on Facebook for, I could not tell you how long, but I knew that watch was following me. And I eventually said, when they hit me with the right deal, I go, screw it. And guess what? I bought the watch. And so, and the fact of the matter is, I think for items that are a little less expensive than a car, right, it makes sense. But you do see here how there's an application, though. I mean, we've seen such great success, even our dealerships, moving or migrating some of our ad spend, which has usually been spent on the tried and true, digital avenues, SEM, SEO, digital display, retargeting, so on and so forth. And even some of the monies that have been spent on traditional media over to Facebook advertising, social media. And we are getting opportunities through that, and as well as conversions. Now, do we want to see more conversions? Absolutely. But are we getting conversions? Yes. So, I think in terms of, like you said, is it going to be that one-click transaction? Probably not. But nothing in automotive is really ever one click, right?
No.
If you look at digital retailing, we look at what's happening with social media. People start in one spot, and then they usually end up at the dealership. So if we look at social commerce, they start on social media platforms. They do research after the fact. Maybe they submit a lead, but then ultimately, the way that the commerce is taking place is our dealership is shooting them text messages, they're giving them phone calls, they're shooting them emails to ultimately get them further and further down the funnel until they convert. But, looking forward-thinking statements here, it very well could be that as these systems get more sophisticated, that people become more accustomed to this, right? This is how they're shopping. Maybe, just maybe, they will say, okay, I'm going to purchase this vehicle through Facebook. You know what I'm saying? This more transactional approach to it. So I think that's definitely something that dealers need to be prepared to do, right? At least be, and you had mentioned this before, which I thought was really great. Ask vendor partners that you are already working with. For example, I know a lot of chat companies, right? And I know a lot of those like cars.com or I'll call them classified listings companies. I don't know if they're going to like that, but classified listings companies, they absolutely would take your inventory and they would upload it free of charge to those, not free of charge, you have to pay for their services, but they would upload it
Yeah,
to
right.
those outlets as part of the package that you're paying for. And then you need to make sure for dealers that there's a process in place to handle, any messages that come through on Facebook Messenger, whether, like we said, the chat company's integrated with your Facebook, or that you have someone who, is a trusted employee that could be on the Facebook platform or, Instagram, whatever it is, and actually respond to these people in real time. So definitely something to think about. I think there's something there. It's just going to take a little time to develop.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Then moving on to memes, memes, memes. What do you call them?
Well, I think it's meme is the right way to say it, but
So too.
to me, it's me, because it's all about me. Let me post a meme about what I think. Me. It's all about me. Look at my me.
That's pretty good. I just heard something today,
think.
which is kind of like that. The me. I like that a lot. But it was. Did you know tag? Right. So tag, like the game tag.
Yeah, tag you're it.
Yeah. Okay. It's really touch and go. And
that's what it stands for?
Yeah, I just learned that today. But that's like me. But like touch and go. Tag.
Tag is an acronym all this time?
I know. I felt slighted.
I can't believe I didn't know that.
Yeah, look it up.
Is tag an acronym?
So it's like me, right? But memes. So what we're seeing, I think one of the things that I actually wrote in this report, which is really crazy, is it true?
It's an acronym.
It's an acronym. And we love acronyms in auto.
CBS News in Chicago says it's an acronym, so it must be true.
So with that, 55% of 13 to 35-year-olds are sending memes every day to each other. 55%. I know 13's a little young to be purchasing a car or in the market, but when you have 35 in there, that's that coveted millennial audience. And the fact that they're sending memes, I think it shows dealers that, one, this kind of all ties together with having to have a pulse on what's happening, right? In around the dealership, so on and so forth, because that's what a meme is. You need to capitalize on a meme that's gone viral and see if you can make it or tailor it towards, automotive, right? So you send memes, right? You see memes.
Yeah. I'm anti-meme.
You're
I'm gonna tell you why.
Why
to
are
me,
you
to me, memes are my this is going to be totally wrong. My perception of memes is a negative perception, because it's always like political or snarky, or it's got a misspelling in it, or it's rude or has swears in it. I don't like memes. I scroll right by them when I see them online. They annoy me. I've never made a meme before. I don't even know how you would make one. Do I need Photoshop? Is there an app that does it? Like, I don't even know. So I am anti-meme, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. That's just the way I feel.
It doesn't meme. It doesn't mean
it doesn't mean it's wrong.
What
do you think?
Matt, this is what I'd say to you. Okay, boomer.
I'm older than you, so maybe that's why.
No, but I think, you have to look at the data, right? So I was having a conversation with an individual. Actually, it was our friend Lara from Dealer Marketing Magazine.
Yes, love Lara,
editor-in-chief over there. And Lara and I were talking about TikTok specifically. And although I do not use TikTok and she does not use TikTok, the consensus after the conversation was, just because we don't use it or don't like it doesn't mean that we cannot deny that the audience that will ultimately buy cars from dealers in the future are there. So why would we do ourselves a disservice of saying, I am going to blackball, or, I will never advertise on that platform just because I don't like to. It's the same thing with memes. I think there's definitely, like you said, they can be politically charged. They can be snarky. They can come off as crude in some instances. But I also think there are some ways where you could tailor the meme to make it funny, to make it engaging. And I mean, here's one. I don't know the verbiage yet, but do you know the stonks? I love the stonks meme. Have you seen the stonks meme?
I'm not. No.
So the stonks meme is great. It's like this weird looking, like Microsoft Office 93 guy. And what it is, though, it's like a bar chart. I'll send it to you that shoots up. But it's about making like stupid financial decisions that ultimately ended up benefiting the person. And then instead of saying stocks, it's stonks. So basically, I'm thinking for car dealers, right? You could say like, hey, put X amount of dollars down, finance this payment, blah, 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 stocks.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
there's just ways
Yeah.
where you catch your attention. Really great meme. I love that one. Go ahead.
This is maybe not exactly meme, but just talking about our sort of underlying theme of trends.
Yeah.
Have you seen the trend I'm seeing a lot on Twitter is wrong answers only?
Yes.
Have you been seeing a lot of wrong answers only stuff? So what about a dealer? Because I think that's probably, we're not past the time right now. I think that's the thing right now, right? So what if we do that in dealer, from a dealer level, even a podcast level? Ask a question, wrong answers only, and then let the audience generate the content for you.
And there it is. It's the user-generated content. It's remixed content. Another one I love that's been going around is it's on, well, so I think it's a lot of platforms now, but now that they're censoring a lot of what people say, and this is not a political show, so that's as far as it will go. But, when they're censoring it, people are coming up. I think it was actually Oreo, or it was a really great, they took advantage of that. And that's exactly how dealers need to scale. But I think it was Oreo, Matt, and they said, I'm so sick and tired of Oreos, or like, I hate Oreos. And then as the disclaimer, which is like how it would be censored, it said, no one said this ever. Like,
yeah, I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not true information, or this information has been proven to be untrue, whatever it is. But I thought, once again, if there's dealers out there, or like, oh my God, if I could do that for my dealership at scale, that would be incredible.
Colin, I want to see, hold on one second. We got a little audio issue here. I want to see, what's happening? Oh God. Hold on.
You see me out. I want to see you leave.
Yeah, I see you, but you're not. Hold on. Sorry, folks. Bear with us.
No worries. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes when we put together these great podcasts, we have some technical difficulties, but that's okay, because we roll with the punches and we make stuff happen.
Yeah, you ad-lib while I fix this.
Yeah, okay, so while he fixes that, one of the things that we are going to talk about next, because I think the meme conversation was great, but we move on, is nostalgia marketing. So there's a lot of cool things covered in this report, because it dealt with, in this day and age, right, the social media marketing trends and 2021 and beyond. So it is future thinking, forward thinking. But then it's also talking about putting a new spin on nostalgia marketing. So with that, I think it's kind of like what Matt and I were joking about earlier with COVID, and how, although that's not funny at all, but how what we were talking about is individuals that say like the good old days. So I think there's something else that's been going around, a meme that was really funny for me when I saw it. It was just a picture of people literally probably a month or two before COVID, and they're all out at restaurants and they're eating and they're laughing and they're having fun, and there's not a mask in sight. And then the caption is, wow, here's a picture from, 2020, when people could eat indoors, or like something like that. It's just that nostalgia marketing. So what they're saying, though, too, is you take those opportunities, you make it funny, you add some levity to the situation, but you're also taking the old ways to market. So direct mail, you're taking not necessarily traditional TV, but you're making a hybrid between streaming media, direct mail, and you're packaging all that together to be this omni-channel marketing approach for the new audience that your dealer is trying to get to. So that's nostalgia marketing. Are you back, Matt?
I'm back.
Okay. Are we good?
Yes, we're good.
Thank you.
Nostalgia, interesting point about that is, did you notice that, I don't know which network it is, but they brought back the Sunday night movie of the week or whatever? Like, I don't know if it was CBS or one of the networks basically does the Sunday night movie of the week, where they show a movie on Sunday night.
We brought it back.
Your family. You can watch any movie you want, anytime you want, on any platform. But isn't that cool and make you feel warm and fuzzy to know that the Sunday night movie is on, and you got to watch it with all the commercials on it? But there's something comforting about that, isn't there?
I think so, because it's more of it's how routine, or how things used to be. So I think the other cool thing, although not directly related to this, but like, let's talk about with COVID, I mean, the resurgence of drive-in movie theaters. Like, who would have thought that, industries that, yes, unfortunately were dying. I mean, that's just such a great thing to see. But when everything goes to streaming, to see that, there's a drive-in movie theater up in upstate New York by me, and you cannot get a reservation for it. I mean, you could look like literally weeks in advance and everything's sold out. But
Wow.
it's kind of like it's that nostalgic idea. And so what they're saying is take that idea of nostalgia and market that, come up with a fun, creative way to make whatever message you're trying to put out there and disseminate to your audience. Take advantage of that feeling of nostalgia and put it out there to the masses. And obviously you can do it via social. Go ahead.
That should be really easy for dealers. I mean, especially with historic brands, like someone like you with Chrysler and Ford dealers, and even any dealer, any brand that's been around for a long time. People are always nostalgic for vehicles and old cars, and if it's Nissan, it's Datsun. If it's Jeeps, it's the old original Wranglers or whatever they were called. If it's Ford, it's when the car was invented. I mean, there's a million opportunities there for dealers to do that. I need to see. I'm going to be checking out the social pages for all your stores later. I want to see some mimetic media activity. I want to see some nostalgia, and I want to see. I'm going to be inspecting all your social channels for all these things in the next 3 to 5 days.
Pressure's on.
Get to work.
Well, actually, let's say that. That's a really good point. So, not that Matt and I are the absolute experts in this, but we do obviously provide different perspectives. One, I'm on the dealer side, Matt's on the agency side. Matt also used to be on the dealer side, and I used to be on the agency side. But for those of you watching or listening to this, if you would like us to look at and review your social accounts or websites, and you think that maybe you have some great ideas about what we've discussed in this video, or you think that you want us to just look and give you our honest opinion and feedback, we're a fresh set of eyeballs that absolutely do that for you, and see if you have, wow, that's a good one you made up, mimetic. That's probably a real thing. Mimetic content, or if you're using nostalgia marketing and so on and so forth.
Mimetic is from the 56-page document that I clearly read more than you did. It's in there.
I'm the host. You're not
Just
supposed
so
to.
you know.
Brad.
Sorry. I read it. I ate a bowl of Cinnamon Life cereal, and I read through the document.
You did your homework. Well, I really appreciate it, and that's why I knew you'd be the perfect guest for this episode. So moving on from nostalgia marketing, we actually kind of already talked about conversational marketing. For the sake of everyone's time, we will skip that. But conversational marketing went in hand with our social commerce conversation. It was about conversational commerce, basically via text messaging, via Messenger on Facebook or other messenger platforms, via implementing your chat as the main way to interact with people on your dealer's website. So for example, on one of our dealerships, instead of get today's best price, we have a request more information button and then our digital retailing tool. But when someone hits request more information, instead of that dreaded form fill that says, first name, last name, email, so on and so forth, boom, chat pops up. Hey, how can we assist you today? Saw you looked at this Jeep Grand Cherokee or whatever the vehicle might be. Now you're having a real-time conversation with the person, and because you're having those real-time conversations or that conversational commerce, you most likely will have a better result in terms of conversion, selling a vehicle when all is said and done.
Yes.
So this one was really interesting. Social gaming. Now, I don't know how dealers can really take advantage of this, but I will tell you, once again, just like remixing and user-generated content, the first dealer that comes up with ways to gamify or leverage the whole rush to e-gaming, right? Esports or taking advantage of that dealer ultimately will world domination. It will be world domination. So with that, I don't know. What are your thoughts on social gaming? Maybe I don't understand it enough. Maybe I see the value to it. I just don't know how to execute. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a gamer. I know that there's a lot of activity on Twitch where people watch other people play video games on Twitch, which I don't get. There's a lot of that going on. YouTube, same thing. Hey, I'm going to record myself playing this game and put it on YouTube, and 8 million people are going to watch it.
Right.
How do we monetize that, or not even monetize it, but how do we take advantage of that as dealers? I'm not really sure what the answer is. Maybe there's an experience in there. Maybe dealers should have something in the showroom that lets people. I mean, if you're waiting around for finance for 4 hours, it'd be fun to be able to play a game or something.
That's interesting. So yes, some way to gamify the experience when you're at the dealership, whether it is just, keeping them occupied, but, maybe we look at, and there are vendors out there, we don't partner with them, but essentially they are providing individuals, when they go into the dealership, customizing their vehicle or customizing different things, and maybe that's the aspect of gamification that we have come to thus far. But I do think, if you look at esports and you look at kind of how that's exploded, maybe there is an opportunity for dealers to tailor the messaging of what they're trying to sell ultimately, right? But then go after that specific esport audience. I mean, you and I have both seen a lot of success, and from our conversations with other people, about targeting specific lifestyle choices or lifestyle interests. And that resonates with individuals. So maybe on the social gaming side, it's about coming up with specifically tailored messages to that gamer audience. Maybe it's like a Challenger Hellcat SRT, right? And you say, hey, you've raced it in Gran Turismo 4, now try it in real life, or something like that. I mean, this is all off the top of the dome, folks. But, with that, it's really interesting. I think there's definitely something there, just like I think there's something there with user-generated content. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think that someone just got to figure it out. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's someone else.
That's it. Maybe it's Experimarketing. Maybe it's someone else. But if it is someone else, we want to talk about it on Experimarketing. We'd love to have you on. And Matt, I think, honestly, I'm looking at this last note here. This was the old school marketing for a new audience. So we touched on that, and we just did it in our nostalgia marketing, which I think was a really great way to kind of package this up and put it under the Christmas tree or by the menorah for the holidays. And
thank you.
Voila. So with that, I want to thank you so very much for your time today. I know you did, 3 other podcasts today?
Oh, my God. I'm exhausted. I need a nap.
You're freaking famous. And I love it.
Well, 2 of them were my podcasts. And then I guested on one podcast. And now I'm recording with you on your podcast. I'm all over the place, man.
All over the place, but still, don't let it go to your head, because our little screen is only so big. I need your head to still fit in it. Okay.
I'm so famous. I'm gonna go take a lunch break now.
There you go. Don't forget the little people. But ladies and gentlemen, that is our episode of Experimarketing, episode 9 to 2021 it's the 2021 and beyond. We dug into the 2021 social media trends presented by HubSpot and TalkWalker. Do not forget to find both Matt and I on YouTube, Mostly Automotive Marketing with Matt Wilson, Experimarketing. That's me here. You can subscribe to our channels. Also, go find and follow our Facebook pages. Same thing, Mostly Automotive Marketing with Matt Wilson, Experimarketing on YouTube. And then, of course, connect with us on LinkedIn. We want to talk to you, fellow Experimarketers. That's all we got for today. Signing off of Experimarketing. We'll see you guys next time.